One thing that I hear from my clients all the time, regardless of their age, their nationality, their level of industry experience, is this. Mooney, I really hate about the concept of selling myself. I feel quite uncomfortable or sometimes feel quite intimidated. It really triggers them emotionally, thinking that, oh, do I have to treat myself as a product? Can I just be myself? I feel really uncomfortable and stressed about promoting myself because even some people from certain culture where humility is highly valued, rather than talking yourself up to other people, you may feel even thinking that, oh, do I have to fake myself or do I have to pretend to be someone else to market myself? But I really want to help those people who feel in this way. I really want to help you to completely reframe the concept of selling yourself. Now, selling yourself, in another word, your personal branding, is really not about pretending to be someone else or faking yourself or performing to look like someone else or be arrogant or exaggerating who you are. It's none of that. It's really about simply you understand who you really are, so you are able to communicate your point of differentiation to your target audience. That is called personal branding. I have had few clients recently feel quite genuinely offended when I use the analogy things like, you are your own brand. And I do understand the types of emotional reactions behind that, why they get quite triggered, because again, they think like, well, I'm not a product, I'm a human being. I don't want to sound like arrogant or I just want to be myself. And I think this resistance is quite very common. When I was thinking about how I started my career, I do remember that the concept of promoting myself, talking about my accomplishments, I feel like, oh, it's not something what I normally do. But here's the thing though. Personal branding is, again, not about pretending to be an influencer or famous person. It's simply, again, about understanding what makes you different, what values you can bring to the table, and how you can communicate that quite clearly and confidently in professional setting. And that has become even more significantly important, especially in the current AI era where everybody can write the same story using AI tools on your resume or cover letter or your LinkedIn profile, even preparing some sort of similar interview answers for your job interview. So the question is really not about, can you write your professional resume? The real question is, what makes you remember and memorable? That comes from your personal branding strategy. Now, if you are someone thinking that I don't even know what my personal brand is, how do I start? How do I define my personal brand? You can start simply asking few questions to yourself. For example, what kind of problems do people naturally come to you to ask your help? Or what type of works give you energy? Have you had some situation where you feel like, oh my God, time has gone so fast because you've been doing something, just focusing on something that you really enjoy. So you feel like time just has gone so fast. Have you had those moments before? Think about it, what those situations are. What strengths do people constantly comment about you? What kinds of compliment do you normally get from people in terms of your qualities or your skill set or your strength? And also, what kind of impact do you generally enjoy making? What kinds of problems do you care so much that you want to make some meaningful change on something? What kinds of small positive impact that you are really willing to make to the people that you care about? How about have a think about those moments too? What do people feel about you after having some sort of interaction with you or working with you, talking to you? Because most importantly, personal brand is not about what you say, the perfect sentence you make. It's really about how people feel about you after they do have some experience working with you or interacting with you. That comes from how you behave, how you show up, how you talk about your unique story, and how you present yourself. Now, One simple exercise that I often introduce my client is this. If you have some blank paper, or just to close your eyes and do a little reflection on this. What are the 3 key words that you will use to describe yourself? You could think about your strength or your key qualities or things that are important to you. 3 keywords that I often use to describe myself: professional, approachable, or positive. These are the common 3 words that I often think about myself when I want to describe myself. And then I want you to think about again, if somebody has an interaction with you, what are the keywords do you think they will use to describe about yourself? And do they match with each other? Are there any differences? If you absolutely have no idea what those 3 words might be that from other people will use to describe you, you can even reach out to your friends, or if you do already have a job, if you're working at the moment, you can ask your colleagues, hey, I just watched this YouTube and then someone, Mooney, the career success strategist, say, maybe I'll ask my classmates or my colleagues to see what 3 words they will use to describe myself. That can be really fun activity you can do with your colleagues or friends. And what this activity exercise often do to people, sometimes this becomes sort of quite a fun light bulb moment that people will have, because many people sort of already have some kinds of qualities and strengths, but they're not yet aware of what those are, what their strengths are, what their values are. So this simple activity can be really good starting point to really enhance your self-awareness around who you really are, what qualities do you actually have, what your strengths are, and how you can actually recognize them to be able to communicate them to other people. Another thing that I often say to people is your personal brand is not really built through having one perfect elevator pitch sentence. It doesn't work like that. It's not about the exact sentence grammar you're using. It's really about built through the way you communicate, the way you show up, again, the types of impression you're making to people, the impact that people experience from interacting with you. Do you remember that I mentioned about the feeling factor here? The experience, the impression that people will have about you. Now, if you just want a simple way to start communicating yourself more clearly and professionally with the confidence, here's a really simple structure that I want to introduce to you. 1, who are you? 2, what do you do or how do you help people with? Number 3, what makes your perspective or your approach really different from other people? Number 4, what kind of impact drives you? Now, this may sound a little bit abstract and vague to you, so I'm just going to give you one example on how you can put these 4 elements in together in the way you can communicate who you are to people. For example, hi, I'm Mooney, and I'm a career strategist who helps international students, professional people navigating competitive Australian job market with more clarity and confidence. That's how I describe who I am, what I do at the moment, and who I help with. And I also want to say I'm known for combining practical career strategy with really good, deep understanding of cultural differences and intercultural understanding. And I'm also really passionate about helping people recognize and communicate their value more confidently. And that's really my perspective, the types of approach that I want to actually use to help people that I care about, because that impact really drives me to keep going and keep helping my clients. So now, by this point of time, you may have noticed something. As you can see, this is really about selling yourself as a product. It's really none of this. It's simply having some sort of clarity around what drives you, what your strengths are, what are the things that are important to you, and be able to communicate that with confidence. Now, if you have ever felt really uncomfortable about the idea of personal branding, I want you to remember this. You do not need to be the person who speaks out loud, or be the famous person, or pretending to perform, or pretending to be someone else. It's simply about becoming more intentional about understanding your strengths, recognizing your value, and communicate this authentically. Because the opportunities often come to people who can clearly communicate who you are, what you stand for, and how you help other people that you care about. And it's not about faking yourself. That is called the career strategy. Let me know in the comments below. What is one word that you want other people to use to describe yourself? Let me know. I'm really keen to hear from you. Now, if you really like more practical career tips and strategies like this, make sure you subscribe me, follow my YouTube channel and social media channel as well. And I'll see you in my next video.